Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your November 2023 forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This can be used for the next 6 to 8 weeks. You can watch it for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus, and you can either watch it before the month or as the month is unfolding. I begin all of my readings with channeled messages that come straight from source, usually through dreams and meditation. Today it was a combination of both, and as I tuned into dreams this morning, the first thing that I saw was an open door. And Spirit conveyed the following message, paraphrase basically, which was, it's time to step through this. The only way to get to sort of like the next great thing is to take that step. So ultimately, completion of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish is going to kind of affect a breakthrough of sorts. There is this sort of energetic kind of like clinging on to something that I was sensing as well. And I think that the opportunity towards the beginning of the month is simply to kind of stand in that doorway and look back and think, you know, am I happy with all that I have done? Is there anything that I still need to find some resolution with? If so, that's really what you want to focus on at the beginning of the month. And then towards the middle to the end, it's about taking steps in a new direction. So resolving and then basically resetting, which is the next slide here, and that is the Fool. So in the tarot spread, there's one card in between this, which would be the World. So it's Judgment, the World, and then the Fool. And I think Judgment will naturally lead you into that expansive energy of the World. But the Fool here is about the reset, and the big idea and big message that I got before looking at any of the cards, Sagittarius, is that this month is not about reclaiming, about repeating, or somehow trying to go back and fix things. We've seen that enough in science fiction movies to know you can't really mess with the timeline. You're exactly where you need to be right now. It's more about resolving and resetting, and then also just basically it's a rebirth energy if you're ready. But really the question here is, are you ready to take the next step or the first step towards that reset? And that's what we're going to look at today, Sagittarius, is how to press the reset button and how to really bring in abundance and opportunity, and to help you shake off any old cycles that might be sort of sticking around in your energy. So I hope that helped out. Now we're going to take a look at the cards and see how everything is shaping up. Again, just a quick reminder, this can be used for your Sun, Rising, Moon, or Venus. Welcome, everybody. Let's get started with your catalyst. You have the water ox that came through. Let's look at this in the upright position so we can read it. It's about softness and gentleness. And I love the sort of juxtaposition. We have what would normally be seen as a symbol of strength. And then we have some words that we don't always associate with strength, but we should. Because being gentle and being kind and being soft with yourself, that's actually one of the best nurturing energies you could possibly do. And then being able to possibly do that with others is also, it's a sign of a great leader. It's something that I would normally kind of associate with the King of Cups, because they are typically very much in touch with their heart, they're empathetic, they're creative, and they're usually kind. And embodying all of those energies this month is really what Spirit is encouraging. Now, the resistance is we've been conditioned to believe that vulnerability is a sign of weakness, which it is not. A lot of times when it comes to great works like writing or movies, the thing that makes you relate to the main character is the fact that they're going through something that is embarrassing or inspirational or heartbreaking. And you're like, I've been through that, or I understand, or I know someone. If you're willing and if you're ready this month, you can lean on your past experiences, possibly share them with others, and this could create more of an affinity, just like the main character that we talked about. And it could set you up as that sort of King of Cups character in real life, where you can be an empathetic, creative, and gentle leader as well. All right, let's focus on the Celtic Cross here. There's some really interesting things if we just take a quick glance at everything before we get into a card-by-card breakdown. I definitely see what I was picking up on in dreams, why Spirit wanted you to walk through a new door. We have 10 of Swords and 3 of Swords energy in the past. We have trust issues here with the 7 of Swords in the near future, but everything on the right is really positive here. We have success, 6 of Wands, movement, 6 of Swords, money, abundance, and opportunity, possibly new friendship, 10 of Pentacles. And then we have Spirit guiding you with the Temperance card. So all of this looks good, but there's some adjustments here, and I'm going to help you out card by card. Let's get started with your centermost card. We have 5 of Wands here, and this is basically an opportunity to work a little bit smarter and work a little bit better. What it's saying right off the bat is teamwork is going to be essential to success this month. And this doesn't mean that you have to be in business. This teamwork could be the closest knit group of friends that you have. It could be a family sort of affair. It could be a legal affair. And yes, of course, it could be work or school. But what we're seeing here is cooperative, collaborative energy versus competitive energy. And so that will be the challenge this month. Here's the good news. When we look at the overall spread, we have the challenge to create some order or coordination or cooperation here. And then we see eventually it's going to work out here because we have the 6 of Wands. Let's look at the traditional illustrations because they yield a little bit more clarity on how this is going to pan out. So you can see in the traditional 5 of Wands, people are basically fighting for attention, fighting to be heard. Sometimes they're just working in their own silos and not really communicating. And this ultimately can mean overlap and a lack of coordination and a lack of, what's the best word here, just being very productive. There's definitely a more efficient way to do things as well. So when one person kind of takes the lead, it brings it forward to the 6 of Wands. You got the 6 of Wands here. This is a very sort of, something like a javelin there. They're going up and over something. So you may have to find a way to maneuver a bit to help people see how something's going to work. But you have a chance here to create positive traction, positive movement, and I feel like you can break up a cycle where people may be kind of stuck in this same old, same old. The idea this month is to step out of the group and do something different, and maybe even move in your own direction, as we see here in the 6 of Swords. Crossing that 5 of Wands card, we have the 4 of Pentacles. Interestingly, as I was preparing this card, this was also the daily read for tomorrow. I'll talk a little bit about the 4 of Pentacles because it ties nicely into everything that we just discussed. The 4 of Pentacles ultimately is there because you might be attached to something kind of like a safety blanket. Let me see if I still have this card handy. I do. All right, so here's the one that I pulled for the daily reading. You can see that she's putting that pentacle right in front of her heart because she wants to feel like I'm secure, I'm on top of things. And sometimes there's a fear that if there's nothing in front of you, if you're holding space, that, there's again that vulnerability or that openness or that sort of feeling like, well, I need to fill the space. Have you ever noticed in conversations when you're just quiet for a moment? Like that's when something starts to come through. The other person will speak up, or your thoughts start to take you in a direction. I want you to hold space this month and really think to yourself, is this person, place, or thing, whatever the attachment is in the 4 of Pentacles, does it still serve the original sort of goal or interest? And if it doesn't, then it's time to make space for something new. Typically, this is a very foundational card, and it's telling you that the best is yet to come. You have not at all sort of received the highest possible love, abundance, or opportunity, okay? But sometimes we just want to feel safe and we want to lock up what we've got and make sure that we at least have that. So I'm encouraging you from the energy of spirit just to stay open and to really work on also heart chakra openings. For those of you that are into meditation, yoga, or exercise, you can work out this part of your body to basically the chest area to just kind of like open it up, okay? Even in posture when speaking, rather than kind of crouching down or closing off the energy, remember to push out the chest, to take the shoulders back, and to just sort of let the heart be a part of the conversation too, okay? Let's go into the deep past. Congratulations for finally getting through something really, really difficult. It's in the deep past, folks, but we do have the Ten of Swords here. The Ten of Swords is a card where something's done. It is a full stop, but it also requires a little bit of healing, a little bit of what we saw right here, softness, gentleness, kindness. And just like this ox is taking a dip in the water, it's also time for you to kind of, it's almost like a symbolic baptism here, but it's basically saying, I'm ready to shed all of that energy. It's served its highest purpose. And we can do a bit of an offering prayer where we say, universe, thank you so much for the experience. It was painful. It was enlightening, and I don't need it anymore. I'm ready to what? Ready to let it go. And that's why the Four of Pentacles came through at the center. Once you're ready to release it, that lesson is not going to repeat. And if you remember my initial slide, I said this is not a month to repeat old cycles. It's a chance to reset and go through that door into something new, okay? There is still a little bit of this I'm reading more as disappointment, but there could still be disappointment in yourself and someone else, in the world in general, that it just didn't go the way that you planned it would. But we start to see healing come through because this Swords card is in reverse. And the Three of Swords in reverse is basically that moment that you turn a corner. And for those of you that are grieving the loss of someone or something, you know what I'm talking about. One day you just wake up and it doesn't hurt as much. And then it hurts a little bit less the next day and a little bit less after that. And pretty soon you're starting to focus on different things. That does not happen overnight, and it changes for everybody, but it typically does come through. But if you're going through a lot, and some of you are going through a lot, please reach out and talk to somebody. It can be a best friend. It can be a teacher. It can be a doctor. It doesn't matter who, as long as the conversation's happening so that you can start to move the energy as well. We'll look at this a little bit more when we go into health. This can be burning yourself out. It can also be chronic pain or fatigue. Sometimes that is reinforced or even caused by, mental or environmental stress. So obviously, whenever something like that's going on, you are going to lean on the team around you to get some insight. But if we take a quick look here at the environment, we do see a card of movement and change. So I really feel like you're moving out of this energy into one of the best cards for healing, the Seven of Pentacles. As we take a closer look at this card, we can see someone that is harvesting basically vegetables here. And for any of you that grow a garden, you know that certain vegetables are going to be ready before others. You don't want to pick a fruit or a vegetable too soon because it's not going to be ripe. Let's look at the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card because I think this is going to lend even more insight on this. You can also see that there's a little bit of impatience with the main character here as he's looking at the vines growing. He's like, why isn't this already, exactly where I want it to be? Why is it taking so long? Simply put, healing takes time. Sustainable growth takes time. And just like we were seeing here, if you rush, what can happen sometimes is a misstep or a mistake. And really in this moment, you've worked too hard to get back where you're at. And you're very, very close to things coming to fruition, to things being sweet and ripe and perfect. And you have to just trust in yourself and trust in the timing. And that's actually what this next card is all about. We have the Seven of Swords here. This is basically you setting the tone and saying, I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm going to expect that same honesty and accountability from others. And if I don't get it or if I'm not seeing it, I'm also willing to take a step back and move in a different direction, the Six of Swords, which we see here. As we take a look at the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, one thing that this does provide is an indicator and a warning. If anyone in your life comes through and they are less than authentic. If they're just not telling the truth, they're not showing up and saying and doing what they say they're going to do. So if someone says, I'll meet you at 5, or I'll pick you up, or I have your back, or I'll help you move, or whatever it is, and they don't do it, then this is sort of like, it's calling your attention to that. And make note and just see, is this something that is systemic? Is it always happening? Is it a historical thing that keeps reoccurring? And if it does, this might be time for you to move in a different direction. This is also the universe coming through as a little bit of a nudge and reality check for yourself to make sure that you keep your own appointments, that you pay your own debts, and you keep your promises as well, okay? As long as you do that, typically 7 of Swords energy is going to exit, like we saw here, to the 6 of Swords, and you can go on to something else. As we take a look at the card that represents you, we have the 6 of Wands. This is success personified. Again, the traditional illustration is here. It involves sometimes taking the lead, setting some coordination or some sort of, kind of action plan in place. But here's the thing that's really unique with this illustration. This is about reaching new heights. I believe that they're doing the Olympic sport, pole vaulting. So this is using something, a tool or a technology or something, to be able to go to a different height or a different place than you thought that you could. And this is also the universe coming through saying, reach higher, push yourself higher. You can get there if you want to. And you may be the first that does this because of your sort of relentless work ethic, because of the belief that you can do it. This particular 6 of Wands carries with it the mantra, practice makes perfect. And that means, folks, that if there was a setback or 2 in the past, you've now done the requisite work if you trust yourself to succeed. Looking at the environment, we have the 6 of Swords, and we can see that the ship is already in motion. As always, when I look at the 6 of Swords, there's a question. Do you want to lead the charge, or are you the passenger? So you get to decide this month how much of a leadership sort of position that you want to take. I will say you are poised to lead if you're ready. You could also consider who you're kind of collaborating with, because I said a team could be advantageous. So you don't have to do this alone. This could be a sort of situation where if you're not leading, then you must be completely aligned with the team that you're associating with. And then together, you guys can reach new heights. But there has to be that agreement and that clarity on where you're going. 6 of Swords also indicates a lot of different things here, so let's just kind of go through it. It's healing as well, and this is such a good card to come through. I would want to see either 4 of Swords, 6 of Swords, or death, especially after we saw the 10 of Swords and 3 of Swords, because it's showing movement and release from that cycle of pain in the past. And it's headed towards a better shore ahead, a better horizon. And this is exactly that liminal space that I was seeing you, that archway, where Spirit was saying, let's just step through this. Let's get into the next thing. So I believe that when you are ready to take action, right on the heels of the 6 of Swords, we have the 10 of Pentacles. This can be a contract, a job, a proposal, marriage, a new house. It's all good stuff. The 10 of Pentacles is abundance in the best forms. And what is it in? It's in an archway. And so we have moving towards this new doorway, this new opportunity that I saw in my dreams. Travel could be a really important component. You might be looking to make a physical move. You may be connecting with a person who is not from your city, state, province, or country. This is a good partnership. This is a good connection. It might even be something that is kind of divinely decreed, because we have Temperance, which is typically an angel coming through, guiding you and saying, patience. Easy does it. We have 2 cards that require patience, 7 of Pentacles and Temperance, both reversed. So patience pays off here in the form of the 10 of Pentacles. Typically, we would see the Tree of Life overprinted on top of a family scene, and you see in the background a house. Basically, it's just showing all the structures in your life that you'd like to see that basically constitute success and stability. That's yours to have this month, Sagittarius, if you're ready. And I think the one really good thing here for those especially that are working to improve finances, may even be seeking some sort of a monetary payout, this card is typically really positive and it's in the possibility space. Just for comparison, here's that card that I was talking about. Another piece that comes through as I'm looking at this is the fact, again, it is in that archway, but also we see the dogs, which represent loyalty for me, and the child, which is birthing or creation. So you are capable of creating this new process. I think one of the things that you're looking for might be this sort of chosen team or family or group that really understands and has your back, because there, again, this trust issue from the past is coming through. Know this, whatever you're bringing through in the future seems a lot more stable and a lot more trustworthy than whatever it was that you were experiencing in the past. All right, let's go to the outcome card here. We have Temperance. The Temperance card is reversed. We still have a somewhat traditional illustration where we see the person balancing out the two different cups or containers. So with the card in reverse, it's saying before you take the first step or take the step through the door or portal or opportunity, it's important for you to find your even footing. So I talked earlier about the importance of healing your emotions, healing anything that's in the physical, mental, or spiritual body first and foremost, and we'll talk more about that in a second. Once you've done that, then just make sure that you've healed the finances and have reset your expectations. When you're finally then on solid ground, you can take that next step. For comparison, here's your traditional Temperance card. You can see that this is all about patience, and we can see that there is a guaranteed path here in the future, but it requires patience, time, and again, balancing everything out. Let's look now at the expanded forecast, beginning with the energy of health and well-being. This is your mind, body, and spirit, and it's indicated here by the fire ant. This is a very community-based energy, so some of you may be seeking out that sense of community. The interesting thing with this particular community card is there's an agitation to it. So one of the things that I would say here is looking at your current group of people or coworkers or family or friends, what's going on with respect to morale, what's going on with respect to how authentic you can be before possibly creating a stir. Because one thing that fire ants are not is patient. And if something goes wrong or is perceived as a threat, they kind of go on the attack mode. So if you're kind of in an environment, particularly this is like work, school, or family, where that energy exists, it may be time to go in a different direction, right? Because what we can see from the past is the sting that can leave with the 10 and the 3 of swords here respectively. And so it's okay if you need to clear yourself out of that sort of energy of agitation, or again, kind of like you having to be on the defensive all the time. Now, let's just take this as an indication of you. Fire ants are very strong. All ants are strong. They can lift several times their body weight. Fire ants can put up a good defense. So if there's something that you need to do to stand up, whether it's speaking up, or if there's something legally, or if there's something financially, whatever it is that you need to do, you have the wherewithal to think through it, but you also have the ability to articulate and even take the necessary action. Ants are strong. Fire ants are really good at defending what matters. Feel free to do that this month if that resonates. Let's specifically look at things that may be going on energetically for you. Again, standard disclaimer applies here, where if you need to talk to a health professional, you will. 10 of Swords can be burnout. It can be chronic pain or fatigue as well. That should be the first priority, kind of clearing that energy out. The 3 of Swords can be disappointment, sadness. There can also be just a general nudge here for those of you that have a family history of things like high blood pressure or cholesterol or heart disease, to take good care of yourself, especially this month. And that would be why we would want to reduce the stress here. The other thing here is when you're going to make any significant change, you have to be ready for that. And this is really calling to attention the the piece on your part that is really accountability. Ultimately, that's the main stuff that I'm picking up here, because once you've turned a leaf and you say, I'm ready, then we have success, movement, stability, and then just a little bit of patience with the final sort of outcome settling out the way you want it to. But ultimately, you have the capacity to turn a new leaf if you're ready this month. You don't have to do it alone. You can have a nice support group around you, whether it is just a best friend or it is a professional, that's up to you. But the fire ant is typically not a solo energy. So I think that the advice here is to find a good sort of collective group that you can connect to, and to separate yourself from a group that may be just agitating you or vice versa. Okay, so that's it. Health is pretty manageable this month. You just have to keep it real. Be real with yourself, be real with others. And ultimately, this is about stress reduction and internal healing. Typically, emotional healing is what I'm picking up on. And I think that's also why the water ox came through. And it's saying, be soft and gentle with yourself. That is a sign of strength. Let's go ahead and move on to your wealth card. This is resources, life, purpose, and career. We have a reverse card that came through on this. Just to read it, let's turn it in the upright position. It says financial and material changes. The question here is, are you ready to do that? You have to basically be the one that is deciding this is the time, this is the way, etc. It's also saying that finances should be one of the focal points this month, because if you decide to put a little bit of energy and attention there, we actually see a really nice potential payoff here. We see the ability to move more quickly than you think. Even if it's not as quickly as you want, it's exactly the right speed to bring you to this window of opportunity or this door of opportunity. It's also reminding you here that, we're looking at these two different rings. I'm looking at promises or obligations. And again, we're going back to that accountability thing. Keep your promises, hold others to theirs as well. And I think that's going to be really, really important. Let's go ahead now and look at this in a few different perspectives, because I know that different people are working, some are retired. We're going to kind of canvas this as best as we can, and then we'll move on to love. All right, if you are currently employed, here's what I see. Some of you may be traveling more than you like, and that's creating some fatigue. If it is, reach out, ask for some help, because it looks like you're doing a good job and you may have more capacity to affect that than you may be exercising at this given moment. It also looks like it might be time to find a different working environment. The fire ants can be part of that sort of easily agitated group that I was picking up on. There could be promises that are not being kept when it comes to advancement. This is kind of a lukewarm card for your outcome. So when we're looking at, them coming through, there may be a chance for more money, but I'm not necessarily seeing a title increase for those of you that are working. So think about that. And the center card, because this is so non-traditional, sometimes I'm not even reading it as pentacles, but 4, 7, 10, we're making the right trajectory here. But again, sometimes it's hard to break the mold when people get very, very used to keeping more money. So they're not parting with as much and they're used to you doing more. They have a hard time letting go. This is someone who's a little bit cheap or frugal to a fault. And when it comes to your employment and your sort of payment for whatever services you're working on, that's not enough. So it's important to hold strong and fast and drive a good bargain when it comes to negotiations. You have a good chance of achieving that. And if you don't get what you want, it's time to seek a different opportunity. I do see success, but it may require you going somewhere else in the long run. The main thing here is it feels like there's been some challenges, and you might even just be a perfectionist here. So for those that are recovering perfectionists, I see you doing well. I think the main thing to focus on is making sure that you have enough resources so that you can sustain your own happiness, health, and well-being. Okay, moving on to those of you that might be looking for work, we have 10 of Swords and 3 of Swords. There's an encouragement here to not repeat the exact environment, job, or application of skills that you did before. And basically here, it's a chance for you to, again, look beyond the current sort of borders or even type of work that you're doing. Think bigger, go in a different direction. There is an opportunity on the horizon, but the universe kind of is coming through saying, in the past, you were doing things that didn't quite sustain or satiate your sort of desires, and so it's time to go in a different direction. And so I'm really getting a directional shift for those of you that are job seeking. If you're just starting out or you're rebooting, so this would be students or people coming back to the workforce after several years, possibly after taking a sabbatical, raising a family, or just taking a break, here's what I see for you. It looks like travel could be a component on this. For those that are just starting out, you should be happy. You should not be doing something that has been sort of imposed upon you. And the 10 of Swords and 3 of Swords is showing a lot of stress associated with the decision. There should be some sense of joy, curiosity, excitement when it comes to work. And if it's absent, then it's time to look in different directions, explore all the opportunities. One thing that I love for everybody this month is we have success. I'm not worried if you'll succeed. What I'm more concerned about is, do you feel like you're part of a group that you like? Do you feel like you're getting the rewards that you should be getting for the successful work that you're contributing? Do you feel like you have work-life balance? Is everything the way that it needs to be? All different types of work this month, whether you are looking for work, whether you're a student, whether you're rebooting, that's the main message here, is to find that balance. And now for my retired viewers out there, it looks like you've done a pretty good job with your finances here, generally speaking. I can see the conservative nature with the Four of Pentacles. I can see the challenges right now, especially given all the increases in costs and cost of living. But I do see that as long as you continue to make smart decisions on the finances, it looks like most of you are doing well. If you did want to work again, the main thing here is it should not be burnout. This should be something that provides a little bit extra. And you don't want to kind of go back into that habit of not having enough time to do the things that you love here. And with the Temperance card in the outcome, this can also be an invitation to do something a little bit more solitary. If you are deciding to volunteer or go back to some sort of an extracurricular, it should be providing balance, not creating a fatigue in your life, okay? And that's the message for all the different people at different states of work. Again, success is the main message this month, and we do see a progression of increased resources. So take care of yourself, be patient with progress, move in a new direction if you need to. Ultimately, we see success and opportunity knocking. All right, focusing now on love and relationships. You got two cards that stuck together. Both of them were in the reverse state, but let's look at them in the upright position. We have Healing Waters and the Healer, very nicely connected. So the Healing Waters reminds me a lot actually of like the Eight of Pentacles, taking a step back and just getting some perspective. I mentioned sabbatical just a moment ago. Some of you may be needing that break or that sabbatical. It's also a sort of baptismal energy. So when you allow yourself to just feel like, I'm ready to let go, I can do this, I've got this, and let it all go, let it all flow, then things start to move in the right direction. You may need to work with someone like a doctor, a healer, some sort of a specialist here. This is also the High Priestess energy coming through. And we see that the next relationship in your life should be one that is very much of a healing nature for those of you that are looking for love. There may be some healing to do in existing relationships. We're going to take a look at all of that right now. All right, so I'm going to start off with those of you already in a relationship. Looks like you've been through some stuff. Let's assume that everything is good in the relationship and you intend to stay. The Ten of Swords could be a really difficult physical thing that one or both of you went through. Oftentimes you don't have a lot of control. It can be an injury or a chronic illness, and it looks like you've been able to move past that, but that creates tension. Three of Swords can also be a reaction to the Seven of Swords energy. So if there was anything that was kept under the rug, this could be like a secret or a revelation that comes through. And the important thing here to do is to talk. Healing is possible. You've got a healing card here. This is a card of withholding. We need to have both parties coming through 50-50. I think as long as that happens, things are good. If everything's good in your life, the main thing that I would say for you is don't overwork. Take good care of yourself right now. I think that one thing that would be really great in a relationship is spending some time together. Six of Swords can show distance. It's also a message to go the distance. So I think this month, if you're going to travel together. If you're working too much or traveling too much, make sure that you're spending enough time with one another, because if not, then that is going to ultimately lead to this feeling of distrust or separation or anxiety. So we need more communicative Swords cards, less of the trust and separation cards that we're seeing here. I do like the sort of strength of the bond here. The Ten of Pentacles is one of the best cards you can get for love and relationships, like Ten of Pentacles, Lovers, Two of Cups, Four of Wands. These are all cards that I want to see. But this is focusing more on the material stuff that we kind of got here, and the relationship is much more than that. Sometimes what happens in existing relationships is you just end up kind of focusing more on oh, did you do this, or we have to go to this party, or did you pick up the dress? Like, it's all of these sort of prescribed duties, and sometimes it is about the finances or the transactional pieces of the relationship. This is really reminding you of the love, the fidelity, the friendship, the loyalty piece, and that is what you want to focus on this month. For those that are looking for love, can you find it? Yes, but the Seven of Swords tells me that you want to be really mindful of who it is that you're getting to kind of know this month. You want to take your time. This is someone who doesn't appear sort of initially as they cast themselves to appear. So give yourself time and distance, really get to know them. I think the thing to focus on is the relationship goals. This is goal oriented towards like marriage or partnership or something long term. This is someone who may not be ready for that just yet. So give yourself time. I'm not necessarily seeing one individual. We didn't get a court card. So I think this month it would be better to focus maybe more on activities and groups that you like here. So this could be volunteer work, co-workers, family, friends, going to those sort of activities. And that's probably where you're going to meet someone, because right now I'm not seeing them in the cards. Can you? Yes. But the cards are kind of indicating that healing and sort of self-work, progress, financial healing, all of that stuff sort of takes precedence first and foremost. I see and read what I see here, so that's what I'm going to kind of focus on for you. If you're single and happy, everything I just said applies to you. I would add to that that some of you may have been planning a trip. If you've saved the money and it's something that you want, these cards are very much in alignment with that. I think the main thing here is to focus on health and well-being this month. And with that, everything else will follow. And you have to have that. Otherwise, there's kind of like a house of cards on top of it. All right, focusing on the Destiny card, we have Clear Your Karma. I like that. That's also what we got with the Judgment card when I was looking at your channeled messages. It was really about rising above. And as I said, you have to finish what you set out to finish. So finish what you started. And also, this is kind of like the scales of justice, doing the right thing. If there's anything where you said you were going to follow through, now is the time to do it so that Seven of Swords energy doesn't enter in. And if you can't, just be honest. Just say, you know what, I thought I could do it, but this, and this are going to stand in the way. I think you should reach out to someone else. Free yourself, free the other person, allow yourself to be able to move in a new direction if you need to. And it's really interesting that by letting go of one of those swords, you can actually go to the movement that we see here with the Six of Swords. I also think that this month a lesson has been completely learned and released. And it feels like to me, you no longer have to experience something painful, something exhausting, something that just doesn't resonate anymore. This is your chance to have a breakthrough and to choose healing, to choose abundance, and to allow yourself to move in a different direction. Okay? Let's go ahead now and take a look at specific messages for Sun, Rising, and Moon sign. For the Sun sign, we have death, rebirth, transformation, known as many, many different things. It looks a little bit better in this illustration, so I'm going to use this one. This is from the Lightseers deck. The reason I like it is because you see that death leads to rebirth. It's part of a cycle, that when one door closes, another begins. And this is a moment where the universe is inviting you to release something that you might be holding on to allow for the momentum of that movement to take you to a brighter shore, and to know that bigger, better, and brighter things are awaiting you. But it does require not just the ability to release it, but also the, I would say for you, the ability to be honest with yourself and also consistent with yourself. Because the accountable piece here in the Seven of Swords has to be met. So if you say you're ready and you're going to make a change, you have to follow through. So are you ready to follow through? If you are, some great things await you. A different message on this card is also that it's not only okay to break the mold, it's time to break the mold. Do something different, shake it up, try a different approach. This is your month, this is your time to shine. And the death, rebirth, transformation card is basically saying you've got everything to gain by expanding your approach. And again, with the Six of Swords, it is about reaching in a different direction. With the sort of pole vault energy here with the Six of Wands, it's also a stretch goal, pushing yourself where you haven't before. It's good. It helps keep your mind, body, and spirit constantly in that state of expansion. Moving on to the rising message, a very empowered magician. The magician is basically saying, if you can see it, you can do it. The main thing you want to do is focus, stay consistent, and also make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin, because sometimes the magician can try to be everyone to, or everything to everyone, and that's the only cautionary note with this particular illustration. This is a super spiritual card and a really great card when it comes to the ability to manifest. So you definitely have that capability coming through loud and clear right now. So if you want to work a little bit with your own spiritual development or even learn something new, this can almost be like an apprentice card. There's a lot of great energy coming through in the sort of field of you being creative and learning and absorbing something brand new. For the moon sign, we have the Ten of Cups. This is a really interesting illustration because we see all the steps that it takes to get to a really beautiful moment in a relationship, or maybe even a moment where you're calling in that sort of love and the accolades, and it's worth enjoying it when it happens. So if something beautiful is upon you in this moment, drink it in and really relax and enjoy. This is also saying don't put yourself on a pedestal or someone else on a pedestal. We are all human. We can sometimes take a step backward and then a step forward. And when you have the true Ten of Cups energy here, it's about embracing all the different steps and missteps. And so it's not about perfection. It's about the dance that we kind of see them doing at the top there. So whether you're a step or two ahead of your partner or vice versa, it doesn't matter, because when you're truly with each other, and this can be your friend or your family member as well, when you truly have each other's backs, it doesn't matter. So support the people around you. Hopefully you're receiving that support as well. This is a great time to make new connections. If you're looking for love, it's a great time to find it. I did mention when we were specifically looking at the cards here that healing is a necessary component. So for some of you, this could actually just be friendship and possibly even a great sort of community. Either way, I like what I'm seeing here, and this is a card that is showing that there's a lot of love to be had this month. Okay, let's now move on to the final question and the final card. This is your chance to meditate on a specific question that you've been dealing with that I haven't yet addressed, and I'm going to pull a card and see what the universe has to say. Three of Cups. This is a beautiful energy to come through. As a yes or no, it's a yes. This is a card typically associated with celebration, new love, new opportunities, new partnerships, choices. And one thing that it's inviting you to do is to sample and explore the opportunities in front of you. If you're looking for a job, if you're looking for a house, or if you're looking for love, it's saying, know who you are, know what's available, take your time and enjoy the process of getting to know things, getting to know people. So, you know, we had Temperance here, which is a card of patience. So really take time with yourself, take time with your partner or your opportunities, and have some fun. If you haven't taken a break, a vacation, or done something just for you, this is a moment to really focus on that. And it's a reminder of the importance of celebrating life's little victories, life's little celebrations. Every day, there's something worth giving gratitude for. And it's a good practice before you go to bed, just to say thanks and release something. I'm getting a beautiful crown awakening as we're talking about this. And I think one of the things that you can also do is really think about what you've learned and to say, even set an intention for tomorrow to be a day where you're open to receive love, joy, abundance, and opportunity. It's a really nice way to end this reading. We see good things coming through for all of you. Speaking of which, Apollo's coming through. So as I'm putting up all of the final notes here, let's see if I can get him to come up. Hey, buddy. If you've enjoyed today's reading, which I hope you have, right under Apollo's paw here, you can hit the like button, hit subscribe, and basically hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on anything in the future. Likewise, you can give me a follow across social media here. I'm on all major platforms as Nicholas Ashbaugh. Easy and makes sense, right? No extra characters, no extra spaces. Sometimes there are people out there that pretend to be me. Here's a great way to figure out if it's an imposter. If they're messaging you and asking you for stuff, it's not me. I don't use messages or any sort of direct message platform out there. So if someone's pretending to be me, just block, report, leave a comment too so that I can also get any sort of fake profiles taken down. A great way to make sure that you are looking at the right person is to go to my website, and all of my official accounts are listed there. If you'd like to give back in an official way and you know it's coming to me, you can do it optionally here through YouTube. You can click the join button under my video. You can also do super stickers, super chat, or there's a little heart under the video on posts, super thanks. All of these things help me continue to sustain and do great videos each and every month. That, my friends, is everything. I want to just basically, from the bottom of my heart, say thank you so much for showing up. You have a lot of choices here on YouTube, and I appreciate you spending some time with me and with Apollo. And until I see you again, I'm wishing you all the best. Take care.